All right, we are live. Everyone tuning in, welcome to another live recording of the Managing Partners Podcast. Today, I have a special guest coming from Miami, Florida, Gee. Thanks so much for joining me.
Yes.
How you doing
Thank you
today?
for having me. I'm fine. How are you?
Couldn't be better. It's great, nice weather. I think you said it's raining there, but
It is.
it comes in. At least it's not cold out. So
That is true.
probably true a lot in Miami. Uh,
Yeah,
so
we don't have
Gee,
real. Yes,
no, well, yeah, you don't have
we don't have winters
what
down here.
you don't have winters down there.
No, no
Uh,
winters.
Well, we were chatting. I might be down there this week coming, so I might
Mm-hmm.
pop in and see you. So I'm looking forward to the warm weather. But let's go ahead, introduce yourself.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of maybe your background, where you came from, and ultimately how you ended up running a law
Where
firm.
am I? Absolutely. So my name is Germese Gee, aka G. I am an Army veteran, hence why my last name became my first name. So it's very rare that people call me by Germese, unless it's my mom and I'm in trouble. So I am a mother. My son is 15. He'll be 16 in November. So that is my pride and joy above all else. Um, so I went to law school in Michigan, Thomas M. Cooley Law School, the best law school in the nation, in my opinion. I also have a master's degree from FIU, which is Florida International University. And then my undergrad was from St. Thomas University down in Miami Gardens, and that was in criminal justice as well. And
Excellent,
I'm a
excellent.
managing partner at Spectrum Law Firm Miami, PLLC.
Yeah, Spectrum Law Firm. I'm going to throw the web address down here. So check them out. I'll put this back up again in a bit as well. I'll put the link in the comments. But yeah, Spectrum Law Firm, Miami, Florida, and you have a partner as well.
Yes, I have a partner. So I am actually licensed in the state of Texas. My partner, Sandy Borsrun, is licensed in Florida. And so we have locations in both states.
Excellent. And so tell us a little bit about the firm itself, what your specialty is, what your focus is in the practice areas that you
Absolutely.
work
So
in.
our motto is a new era in legal representation. And what we mean by that is I think our firm brings a personal touch to all of our clients. So we help our clients navigate through some of the most difficult times in their lives, either whether it be a divorce, because when you get married, you plan on staying married, right? Whether it be a probate, assisting a loved one in going through the weeds or the mud of their deceased estates. And so that's what we do. We have a personal touch for everything we do. All of my clients have my personal cell phone number. It's been that way from day one. And so we are the type of lawyers that we would want if, God forbid, we were facing a divorce or going through a probate. So our clients is always first. And so we always try to remain accessible and basically try to shoulder that burden as much as we can because it's a lot. And so we are there just to kind of help them navigate the legal process and at least take some of the strain and the stress off of what they're dealing with.
Excellent. That's good to hear. That's how you guys operate. And what size are you guys? Like, I guess full staff at the moment with support staff as well.
Okay, so yes, I have two virtual paralegals. My partner has a virtual paralegal as well. We have a virtual assistant, and hopefully sometime soon we'll be bringing on our maybe fourth associate.
Excellent.
But this will be the first one in about 2 years, and so we are growing.
That's
We've
excellent.
been
That's
in
good to
business
hear.
for 6 years, so yeah, it's been a ride.
During COVID, what changes did you make, or were you in an office primarily, going remote, or what have you guys done since or during COVID?
Right. I don't think COVID changed the face of our firm, so to speak, because I'm licensed in Texas, but I live in Florida. And so I'm known as like the traveling attorney. So I was pretty much virtual 90% of the time pre-COVID. So it wasn't a big leap for our firm, at least, to kind of change how we operate. So we really didn't make any changes aside from kind of limited clients face to face, because sometimes clients just want to sit down across the desk from their attorneys. So that's really been the only change that our firm has experienced because we've been operating virtually. for quite a while before COVID.
Yeah, so I actually hear that from quite a few of the managing partners that I get to talk to that are newer firms in the last couple of years. It seems that there was not really a huge adjustment as far as client interaction, systems, ability to go virtual. It seems, what I've heard mostly is it wasn't an issue at all, and most of them are already embracing those things from when they started. So
Yeah.
same with my company. Wasn't really a big hit from that perspective. To go virtual, it was very easy to do. So that's good to hear. So,
Yeah.
Versus your older firms, which have been around a long time. Very hard to change. You have hundreds of people. They're used to a lot of old processes, and it's hard to overnight change to those things where you guys are able to make those adjustments quickly. So that's good.
Absolutely.
So what I want to kind of get into, you guys are growing, and COVID's settled down, and things have come back a little bit to normal. How have you focused on getting clients and getting in front of the right client that you're looking for, but things that you've done that may be different, marketing, what have you guys done that's really helped you guys out?
I think word of mouth is our bread and butter. And you treat clients right, and in return, they will treat you right. They will send their friends, their family, and hey, Gee, I have a client for you. And so word of mouth has been our bread and butter from day one. And I'm in a niche area, so to speak. I'm a part of a lot of lawyers' Facebook groups. And it's very rare that you have an interstate attorney, right? Live in one state, but I'm not licensed in that state.
Oh, excellent.
And so,
Oh, Gee, you're muted, I think. Your microphone is muted. Maybe the earbuds failed. Anyone tuning in? It's all right. We'll be back in a second.
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Technology.
Technology. We were just talking about that. Yeah, it happens.
I know,
No big deal.
you rely on it so heavily. So either professional colleagues that's in the same area that we are in, word of mouth. When we first initially started, my partner and I, we did a lot of Facebook Lives and Instagram Lives and ran all types of like wills estate clinics, disability clinics. And so we were heavily involved in the community pre-COVID. So we did tons of back to school drives. We partnered with different churches. And so just being out in the community that we ultimately served definitely gave us a leg up when it comes to referrals, but we haven't done any official marketing. And this is year 5 for us. And so it's strange that you hear law firms say we don't market, but we really haven't marketed at all. So it's just hard work, really, in keeping that professional reputation that we've established over the past 5 years.
Well, I would say it's not super uncommon. I talk to a lot of managing partners and law firms that haven't done a ton of marketing, or they have relied on word of mouth, reputation, networking out in the community, things like that. And so I think, which is the best way to get work or the best type of work and clients, I think, are all through referral for sure. So it's actually not that uncommon. I think it's just, but you're going live, you're putting out content, you're trying to be helpful. If you kind of break that down, it all boils down to it's a form of marketing. And whether or not you're looking at digital, which is what we do, digital marketing, SEO, so if I Google something, your video might come up that you're talking about wills and trust, or an article you wrote because you're trying to be helpful ends up coming up, and you can share that with someone to help before they make a decision to call you. So it's really about sometimes marketing can still be very easily those things you want to do to help and give back,
Mm-hmm.
and they can easily be translated into pieces that can drive customers at the same time. So sometimes just kind of looking at what are you doing and how can that be used, the stuff that you've already produced, be used to attract customers that are outside of maybe your referral sources,
Right.
So I think that's something to kind of think about.
Absolutely.
Also, real quick, anyone got any questions? You're tuning in. G is a wealth of knowledge, so any questions you have, should be happy to answer. Pop those in here. We'll get to see the comments, and we'll respond. She'll be able to answer those for you. So comment if you can. And so yeah, word of mouth and referrals, hands down, the best. I mean, my company was built on that as well. We still heavily rely on that, and I just think it's the level of growth you're looking for might depend on if that's enough. It's hard to control, I guess. You can't predict it. I guess you can't predict how many referrals will I get this week or next month. So I think that's where marketing kind of comes in to say, all right, how do we try to influence it a little bit? But I did get to see some videos. You went live and some of the things you guys have done, and you're active on social media, which is great. So but those are all great methods to get in front of, especially your community. The Facebook groups, you mentioned that, so that was really cool. Give me a little more detail on I guess how are you interacting with the groups? Are you on there kind of like commenting and giving your opinions and help? Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
And what are the groups made up of other lawyers or?
They are. So when I'm a part, maybe 5 or 6. It was more earlier on in my career, but I'm about a part of 5 or 6. And so those forums are just like any other networking event, right? But the difference is you're in front of a keyboard. And so the key to kind of getting your name seen over and over again, for instance, if somebody posts like, hey, I have a question regarding X, Y, and Z, can you give your opinion? And if it's an area that I know and it's in my practice area, which is family law primarily and civil litigation, then I'm able to chime in to say, hey, Bob, this is how we'll handle it. Or if it's somebody, can I use a conference room? Come down to our office. You can use our conference room. And so those are the type of things that kind of build that connection outside of being a part of 1 in 10,000 attorneys. And so, or if they are running a cost like, hey, I have an event I want you guys to be a part of, whether that's donating. So it's really about kind of giving your time without looking for something in the end, but also you want to get your name out there because those Facebook groups are abundantly everywhere. And there's so many different attorneys and phenomenal attorneys at that. And so it's really going to be the difference. Like, okay, it's come down to 2 attorneys and they would most likely than not go to one that they're least familiar with. And so that's what we do. My law partner, she speaks Creole. And so sometimes we offer her translation services to be like, hey, I need a translator. Hey, call us up. My law partner will translate for you. So it's one of those things, and professional courtesy goes a long way. And so that's how we kind of do it. And to just be helpful to the legal profession, because if one of us succeeds, the legal profession entirely succeeds as well. So it's kind of understanding the big picture while still trying to drive your bottom line as well.
No, that's excellent. That's a great way to do that. And I'm actually part of, me and my business partner, we're part of, it's not a legal group, but it's a digital marketing owners group, which is very similar. We all help each other, and we don't all do the same type of marketing for the same types of clients. So when they have a referral to, say, a law firm, they go, oh, Kevin, you guys only work with law firms, right? Like, yeah, here. We don't, we don't work with law firms. So, and then it's just also just a way to stay on top of your game, see what others are saying. So I think the Facebook group is really great. And I'm sure there's other, and you're also on a board. You mentioned a board early on.
Yes, I sit on my law school board, Western Michigan, Thomas and Cooley Law School. And so I sit on our alumni board there. to once you graduate law school, it's fine and dandy, right? You take the bar, but you still need to kind of
Easy peasy.
easy peasy, right? Just a small
I'm gonna take it later today just to see.
Let me know how it goes.
Yeah.
And so our job is to keep that connection with our law school while also building our alumni base. And so one of the ways we do that is to hold different virtual events through law schools throughout the country or within our own alumni organization as well. And so that's been a wonderful experience so far. COVID has kind of curtailed what we wanted to do. So
bet.
hopefully by this time next year, we'll be back in person doing some type of networking events.
But so I assume though that probably leads to other referral potentials and great connections, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Our alumni we have an adjunct professor at UCLA that's on tenure. And so we're Chicago, Ohio. And so you never know what tomorrow is going to hold, right? And so it's kind of the 6 degrees of separation sort of thing. Like you're six people away from meeting who you want to meet, so to speak. And so that's definitely a great opportunity to network and meet people that I didn't even know. And it's a 3-year commitment. So you learn a lot about people in 3 years. And so hopefully those relationships kind of continue to grow even after our term is up.
Yes, that's excellent. So, big question. What does the next 5-10 years look like for you? Do you have any, I guess, in stone plans, like goals that you're trying to hit? What's the progression? What do you want to see the firm do? What are you guys trying to accomplish?
So the next 5 or 10 years, we will be multi-state. We will have at least 5 different associates. I don't know if I'll be full-time or not. I want to get into the academic world a little bit, become a professor. But it's definitely to expand our firm and to expand our global footprint. When my partner and I first came together, we understood that it was bigger than us too, which is why we chose the name Spectrum, and our individual names don't appear on our law firm door. So it's definitely about leaving a legacy. We want to leave a firm that will be self-sustaining and self-efficient, even if one of us choose to cut down full part-time and be in the office once a week. And so 5 years, the goal is to be in Michigan and Georgia, both locations, as well as Texas and Florida, of course. So that's 4 states in 5 years. A pretty lofty dream, definitely doable and attainable. And to continue to grow our brand, we want it to be outside of G and voice run. And so we understand that in order to do that, we have to put in the work and grind and hustle. And so that's the 5-year plan. Hopefully my sister will be an Esquire then as well, and she'll be coming on as an attorney. So to make it a family business, so to speak. And so we'll see. She has 3 years, so knock on wood, she'll be a managing partner of the firm in about 4 or 5 years from now.
I love it. So this very precise goals that you have in mind is measurable, right? And it's something you already planned for, which I think is excellent. It's even with the name of the firm, it's not just your name or whatever. You had growth and a plan for the future. So I think that's really amazing. You got 4 states in 5 years. That's more than doable. So I love how you have those kind of already in your mind. You can put those down on paper. So
absolutely,
I love it. So I have a doubt that you will get there. So so for anyone listening, an aspiring managing partner, someone that works at a law firm right now, maybe tuning in to this episode, that is thinking about going off on their own, and there's some people are just wired. They already know they're going to go on their own, almost before they know. But that's just whatever they just end up going on their own. So, what's some advice maybe you would give to someone they haven't really taken the plunge yet? They're kind of thinking about it. And I know this last year might have been a little bit, scary for some people to kind of make that jump. But what kind of advice would you give someone like that?
I'll give two pieces of advice that we kind of learned the hard way. Is to remember your why. Being an entrepreneur is not for the faint of heart. It's not easy. It's not rainbows and unicorns. And so during those tough and difficult times, early on we were struggling. Like, we knew law school teaches you how to practice law, but not run a business. And so that's going to be my second point. And so you have to remember your why, and you have to remember, like, okay, it's tough. Why did I start? Like, why? Because that's going to be the only thing to keep you moving during those difficult times. And the second part is you definitely have to learn how to run your business, not as a lawyer, but as a business person. And that has been, I guess, the biggest challenge, because we're attorneys, but we also are business owners. And so there are two different things. One does not equip you for the other. And so definitely learn about business. Get you an accountant. We have a phenomenal accounting firm down in Miami. Get you one. Take courses. Read books, because you don't know what you don't know. But if you want to run a business and you want to run it the right way, you have to learn about it. It's a scary thing. So definitely learn how to run a business, not as a lawyer, but as a businesswoman or man. So that would be the two things. The latter part was harder. We definitely experienced some bumps along the road, and like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have did this way. Or maybe we should have paid more attention to business organizations in law school. But it's critical to surround yourself with people and that experts in your area that you're not, and that's okay. So that'll be my two biggest pieces of advice for.
I, and those are two really, really good ones. So yeah, why are you doing this? This should be, what's the reasons? Is it freedom? Is it to do things your own way? Whatever it might be, or is it to make an impact, to give back, whatever. But yeah, I think sticking to that and really, I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't establish that necessarily up front, in the beginning. There's usually a reason, but it's maybe not a why. And I think that might take some years to really establish sometimes. I've definitely seen a lot of entrepreneurs that are like, I don't even know why, and I don't want to do this anymore, and they didn't really have a good why. And it's just, well, I want to make some money or whatever, but over time, that won't really sustain you. So you have to have a bigger purpose in that, for sure.
Absolutely.
And then yes, running a business is not easy, and it's not. It doesn't get easier necessarily. And as you grow, there's just more challenges, different challenges. But so you have to like and embrace change. That's going to come regardless if you like it or not. And you start to get a little bit better at it, but. You can learn as much as you want, read books and stuff, which I do and everyone should do, but nothing beats doing it and failing a little bit, doing it the wrong way, and then going, okay, I don't want to do that again, and that was a mistake.
Absolutely. So, trial by error.
That's right.
That's what we did.
And then definitely bring on experts if you can. Obviously, when you start out, you might not have the money to do it all, but you'll be surprised when in your community, people that you connect with that will help. And you don't have to start out with the big accounting firm. You might start out with, John, the accountant, or someone that's a friend that can help do something and pay them. So I think it's kind of like a progression. My lawyers, we have a business law firm. There's so much we couldn't do without them, and we throw things at them all the time. So we can't do that ourselves.
Right.
So yeah, surround yourself with good people. Hire where you can outside, and remember why you're doing it.
Absolutely, you can't be afraid of the unknown. It goes back to what you said. We were doing our own books when we first started, had no idea. We figured it out. QuickBooks is a wonderful, wonderful tool. And it's one of you
Absolutely.
trial by fire, because you want to know your business, right? And so before we kind of turn over the reins, and so you have to embrace it. In the Army, we call it embracing the suck. And so you have to embrace the suck. I hate numbers, like I detest them, but I have to know what's the basis of my payroll. Like why do we have to pay X amount of dollars in taxes? And so that's what we couldn't afford an accountant when we first started. And so it was up to me and my partner gee, we're gonna figure this out one way or another.
Well, well, I think that's another great tip, that you know it first, inside and out, as much as possible. You suck it up, you do it until you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. But you understand it. So 10 years from now, when someone pulls up some numbers for a financial report, you're not gonna be clueless. You're gonna be like, what's up with this? What's up with that? It was funny. We just got out of a financial meeting moments ago before this show, with Katya, who's down in Jacksonville, Florida. She works full time with us on our accounting, and we're confused on some of the stuff, because things get more complex, and we're not always like, well, what the heck is that? But we know by looking at things what should be right and what's wrong, and you need to know it inside and out. As a business owner, you need to be able to. If everyone quit tomorrow on your team, you could still probably run the business, do all the work, and I think that's important. That you know how to do those things, and your business is going to be way more protected that way.
Absolutely.
So, another good tip from G. Embrace the suck. I love it.
Embrace the suck.
Everyone tuning in, check out more episodes like this to see G's episode as well. arraylaw.com/podcast. Check out G on our website too. This is Spectrum Law Firm. G, what is the best way for listeners now and in the future to connect with you personally or to reach out to you?
Absolutely. So our office number is 888-959-8264. Our law firm name is down there. If you Google G, Gee, our firm page will pop up. My partner name is Sandy Boisrond, Boisrond. We're very active on social media, on our firm's page. So you can plug us in on Spectrum Law Firm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. And so those are the 3 ways to contact us. So give us a call for your legal needs.
Excellent. Yeah. Reach out to G, to a firm, her partner, again, down there in Miami. And if you are interested or run a firm that needs help with their marketing or just an assessment of what you're doing, reach out to us, arraylaw.com. Check that out there. Also, again, the podcast, you can check those out there. This will be live today on LinkedIn and YouTube. You can also check this out on our website soon, and you'll see more from G very shortly. So, G, thanks so much for joining me today. Is there any final words as we tune out here in just a second on a Tuesday?
No final words. Thank you for having me. If you need legal representation in the state of Florida or Texas, please feel free to call our firm. If we don't know, there's a guarantee that we know somebody that does.
Yep, they can connect with somebody. So yeah, anyone referral work is great work. You got a client that needs family law, but you don't practice family law. Yeah, reach out to G and her firm, and make it happen. So, all right, G, thanks so much. Stick on. We'll stay behind the scenes here, and everyone else that tuned in, have a great day, and we'll see you soon on the Managing Partners Podcast.